brief of the Nigerian Center. And without much ado, I would like to introduce our speaker for this evening. Our speaker for this evening is Mr. Edward Somori. He is a tax specialist, and he's been in the banking industry for over 30 years. He started out as a small fish and then grew to be the vice president of the branch operations at Citibank. While there, he was a supervisory principal. He left the banking industry to become a loan originator and lender. So again, it's a good person to talk to. And he's now licensed to originate in 3 states. He is a pastor of the Redeemed Christian Church Court and is very passionate about sharing knowledge and what he's acquired with others. So this evening, I will be transferring us now to Mr. Edward Somori to talk about ITIN and the benefits of ITIN, and why it's important for us to have it. Also, if you know people that should also be here, please share the link with them so that they can hear right from the mouth of the expert. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mr. Edward, over to you, sir.
You can hear me now, but you can't see me, right?
Yes, I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Okay. Let's see. Where do we do that? Okay. Now you can see me.
Yes, now I can see you.
All right. Good evening, everyone. And Nigerian Center, thank you very much for bringing me on again. Our partnership dates back to the days of little beginning, I would say, with you guys. And here we are again on another occasion to work with people. Let me see. Can I share my screen? I believe.
Let me stop sharing my screen so you could share your screen.
Okay. All right. So I believe we can now share our screen. Let's do the presentations and go to more and share screen. So says host disabled participants sharing screen. They may want to give me access to be able to share. We see it's still saying that participant cannot share screen. So I will look through that. I think you may want to do multiple shares so that way it will allow me to share. My mission today is very easy. Again, like the host rightly said, I'm a banker. I was in the main core banking industry, doing your regular anything.
Okay, sorry to bust in, sir. Please try to share it again.
Okay, I think I think it looks like we are good now.
Fantastic. Yeah. Thank you.
So been in banking for years, both in Nigeria and here. And I have actually really dedicated myself to, even while in banking and then outside, now that I'm in mortgage banking, try to work with people to get themselves established and at least be able to grow wealth. And I try to share my knowledge based on what I've seen in the industry and what I've seen people go through, learn from that and share that information. Now, our main topic today is ITIN, which is Individual Tax Identification Number. Now, who can benefit from this? Who can use ITIN or ITIN as it's popularly called? Who can use it and what can it do for you? most states in the Union, in the United States, have programs in place that enhances the use of ITIN. And if you are in the country and you are not documented, you still can live at least close to normal life. I use the word close to because maybe you might have little restrictions here and there. But with this individual number, you will be able to report and file your taxes. You will be able to establish credit, own a home, get an ID, get a driver's license. In most states, you'll be able to do all of these things. Now, the ITIN is not a social security number, and the ITIN is issued by the Internal Revenue Service, IRS. And they issue that to create an account for you to be able to report and pay taxes. So in a subtle way, it's a way to say, we know that you are here. And we know that while you are here, you really don't qualify for most of the social benefits out there if you're here alone or you don't have children that were born here. So which means you probably can't go to your county office and say you want to apply for WIC or you want to apply for anything. But we also know that you have a life and you are living, and somehow you are sustaining yourself through some form of job or the other. While we cannot give you social security number, we want to make sure that we collect our share from you when you do what you do. Pay us your tax, and we will turn our eyes away from any other thing going on. And most people say, oh no, if I get this, won't the immigration come after me? At least in the number of years that I have been working with IRS, I actually work with IRS as a certified acceptance agent. What that means is if you're applying for ITIN, instead of mailing your original documents to them and wait for months for them to verify, certify, and then send back to you what they have done, you can come to my office and I will be the eye for the IRS to review your document for authenticity, vet and certify them, and you will keep your original and I will send copies to them. That is what I do for IRS. So they know that you have no social, and they are not saying that this number is your social security number. It is not the same, but it allows you, it's formatted like social security number. It is a 9-digit number. But in this case, because it's formatted like social security number, it can be on your W-2 for if you have a job and somebody say, oh, you know what, I could have hired you, but how will I report the expense, the income, and the salary I'm paying you? I don't just want to, I might be paying you under the table like we say, but I still want to be able to write those off. This allows any potential employer to do that. They will be able to report the income they pay to you, and they will be able to create an account and send that to the IRS, and you also will be able to file your taxes with that. Now, what is it used for? Are you in this country? Do you have a bank account? Now, if you have a bank account and you don't have ITIN, there is what is called withholding tax. the bank will place a special withholding on all your earnings just because you are not a tax-paying US resident. They will assess you with a special, and sometimes it could be 15 or higher % on, say, for example, you have an account that's earning interest rate and all of that. And if you do, you will already see that. But if you have this number, you can certify your bank account with that and report that as someone who has an account with IRS, which the bank can also report whatever they pay you to that account, so that at the end of the year, they can issue you, just like your employer will issue you a W-2 or a 1099, the bank also will issue you a 1099 INT, which is interest. Or if you have an investment account, a trading account, same thing. You'll be able to use that to report your financial activity to the IRS. You can also use this to build up your credit. Now, if you have an account with the bank and you've had account for some time and you are in good standing, you can get a credit card with that and actually build real credit that is reported just like someone with a Social Security number. The other thing you can use this for, which I don't think I have it on the slide, is driver's license and IDs. At least in this tri-state, and I'll take Maryland, for example, because we live in Maryland. In the state of Maryland, you can get a driver's license, which means despite being undocumented, you can own a car, because you will be able to own a car, register it in your name, have it insured, and be able to drive as a which means you don't have to depend on your Nigerian driver's license, and you don't have to be driving on the ground where you'd be afraid that, oh, you're just driving and if something should happen, you're in trouble. The state of Maryland allows you, if you can drive, to get a driver's license. If you cannot drive, to get an ID, which, if you know how all of this thing works, I know the immigration people, they tell you about immigration, it really helps you to, especially when it comes to getting something that can put food on your table, getting a job. In most cases, they will ask you for ID, and instead of bringing up, there is a difference between somebody that, you ask for ID and is bringing a passport, and someone who is bringing a United States ID that is, from one of the states in the union. Maryland is one of those states that offers you that. Maryland just wants you to get this number. Once you get the number, file 2 years of state taxes, and they will issue you a control number with which you schedule an appointment with the DMV or MVA and go through the test, and they will issue you a driver's license. And see how all of this number can connect a whole lot of things. See, with that, it connects you being able to build credit, because when you're applying for credit, they want to see your ID, you have something that is useful to present. What do you need to apply for an ITIN? Very simple. You need to complete an IRS form called Form W-7, and you need to have a foreign passport, and your passport has to be valid. So if your passport is expired and you are thinking or looking at having this, then you need to go and get that renewed. Because let me just come out of this and go into show you another slide real quick. Share another screen. I think that is the right one. I'm not sure of what you're seeing. Are you seeing this form that says W7COA?
Yes, I see the
Okay.
form. Yes.
Okay. So this is the COA form. I just downloaded this online, and this form sort of tells you what you need and why you need it. So you need something to identify you as an identity card or document, and you also need something to verify your foreign status. So your passport serves as both ID and foreign passport foreign status certification. So also is your national identification card, which today we have in Nigeria, but when you're using your national ID, it says it must be current, must contain name, photograph, address, date of birth, and expiration date. That is what will qualify that as both identification and foreign status. Now, some other people somehow got driver's license, United States driver's license without the ITIN from other states, and now they want to get the ITIN. If you have just a United States driver's license, that will not be enough for both. So it will identify you, but it will not certify your foreign status. And then birth certificate can be used if you have children that are under 18. Medical record can be used if you have children that are under 6. Foreign driver's license can be used, but that will only, again, just like the United States driver's license, certify ID you, but will not be acceptable for foreign status verification. So also is your foreign voters registration card. I mean, I saw also is your United States identification. Foreign voters registration card, I think, does both. Yeah, foreign voters registration card, that's, I think, what we call previously in Nigeria, verifies both statuses. If you are in the United States military, I believe before you would join them, I know during the Iraq war, non-residents were accepted into the military, but for those people, I don't even think you will have this situation because the military fast-track your both residency and citizenship. Then you have school records for age 14, and then if student 18 and under, and then if you have a US issued visa. Your visa can also, because if you look at your US visa, it has your passport and it has almost everything. So if you have a valid visa, that can also identify you. But I doubt if you will have a visa that is valid on the passport that is not valid. So I think if you're having a visa, more than likely you will have a valid passport. And of course, United States citizenship and immigration photo ID, that is like work authorization if you have that. But if you already have work authorization, I don't know why you won't apply for Social Security number at that point rather than applying for this one. I went through this just to show you and to let you know what you really will need. But now let me tell you, if you already have a Social Security number, please, this is not a replacement for a Social Security number, and it's not something that you have. Once, if you have this and you now obtain a Social Security number, it merges and you don't need that again, because it's not something to say, okay, I keep my Social Security number to be me and have totally different identity with the ITIN. No, once you have social, then this one stops working, and it's the intention is not for you to create, you know, a different or a fraudulent personality or identity using this one. So let me come out of this and go back to my original slide. All right. So those are the things you need to apply for ITIN: passport, valid passport, or those different types of IDs that I just showed you. And with those, you are good to go. So, sorry, I got to go back and back. Who should apply? If you are in the United States, undocumented, and you really, I say you really want to have a life, because especially if you live in Maryland, I don't know how you'll survive without driving, especially if you live in certain parts. I mean, places like DC, New York, you may survive, not with some part of Maryland. You are a non-resident or a resident alien living in the United States, and you want to comply, of course, with the US tax laws, and you want to be able to get some of these benefits. And like I always tell people, you want to be able to drive, then you should be able to apply for it. How long does it take? It takes about 8 weeks right now because it's currently manual, but IRS is working on moving that into electronics, and the promise is by August they will make it electronics, whereby we can file, instead of mailing it manually, we'll be able to file electronically. And with that, the hope is the time will be cut from about 8 weeks to a week or two, which means it will take about a week or two from application to the number actually being issued to you. So just bear that in mind. And I put this here because I'm also a mortgage lender, like you heard earlier. And I thought this is very, very interesting, because most of us are here, we're renting, and we have the income, and we can actually begin to build wealth here in this country through home ownership. And I just put this here to show you that there are lenders. In fact, more and more lenders are going into programs where they know that you are not fully documented in the country, but if you have ITIN and you have been able to establish credit with it in your state, you will be able to get a mortgage. You'll be able to own a home. How much more settled can you be if you can own a home? I know a lot of us, we work hard, and we have in fact, I've seen a lot of so-called undocumented that have their own businesses. That's another thing. You want to own a business, and you want to own the business in your name. Each business will have EIN, the employer identification number. Now, for you as a business owner to be able to register or apply for EIN for your business, you have to first of all have ITIN. So that's another thing. So you can also be, if you have business ideas and you really need to run with something, this is an opportunity for you. You get this, and then with that, you'll be able to apply for EIN for your business, and you can own your business and do a lot. And I've seen, especially in the Hispanic community, a lot of people that have ITIN, and they are employing locals that have social security number and paying them salary. So yes, you are here undocumented, you can own a business. And the starting point is your ITIN. You can also build credit that way and own a home. Let me just stop here for a second and ask if anybody has any question on these before I wrap up. And of course, I just put my contact information on the screen, but if there are any questions or anything you need me to elaborate more on.
Thank you very, very much, sir. The floor is open. Do you have any questions? If you have questions, can I see your hands? Okay, I see Toby. All right. Please unmute and ask your question.
Okay. Good evening. And thank you very much for the presentation, sir. So I don't know if I missed it or if you said it. Is there a fee to apply for the ITIN?
Yeah, if you are using, say, a service like mine, yes, I will charge you a fee. Although if you can settle down and go on IRS site, information is there. But of course, if you do that, you will have to send your original documents to them in the mail and wait for you to be able to get it back. But for me, in my office, yes, we do it, and we charge $250 to process and certify your documentation. And I do know also that, let's say, okay, you decide that you are not coming to us, you're doing it yourself. You can also go to the embassy to have the embassy certify a copy of your passport with a letter on their letter-headed paper and mail it to them. So definitely an option that is open to you. But regardless, I think the embassy charges about $100, but they won't prepare anything for you. Just $100 to certify your passport. But we will prepare all the documents for you for $250, and that includes the state filing that will give you the control number for your driver's license or ID, state-issued ID.
All right, thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Any other question?
Good evening. My name is Michelle Gavidon. I have a question.
Okay.
All the requirements that you actually mentioned there, I do have them. How soon could I schedule a meeting with you?
Oh, that's my number. Just give us a call in the office and then we will schedule a time with you to come in.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, sir. I have a question for you. And so it's one of the many issues that we have when we see people when they come in, for instance, to the center. Like some people came into the US and maybe as students, and then they had their social security, and then maybe after school, they fell out of status and all that. And so the social security becomes kind of non-viable for them at the moment. And then it becomes a complex situation. So is it possible to have a social security and also after obtain a tax and ITIN?
So let me tell you the way it works. Your social security is a one-time thing. It's issued once in a lifetime and it's your number forever, anytime you come into the US. So your driver's license may have expired, but if you have a job, you can still use that social to report and all of that. But now, you may go to the MVA and the MVA may say, oh, no, we don't. But for a state like Maryland, that number, we just need to get a certification on that same number. So the way you get certification for such social security number is different from the way you get certification for ITIN. So you just need to see somebody that can help you and you'll still be able to get a driver's license with that same number. You do not need to go for an ITIN again, except on a very rare occasion. I think I've had only one situation where the guy had the number and was already supposed to have, but even at that, he was already supposed to have been removed from the country and somehow was able to escape that and was in the country, then decided to apply for ITIN. He had issues with it, then came to my office, and when I dug in, I saw what he was trying to do. But at the end of the day, we were still able to go back, cancel the ITIN, recertify the social security number with MVA, and he was able to get a driver's license, which eventually he was able to work his paper and his reinstatement. I think now he's even on the path of getting I think he's gotten a work authorization or even temporary green card, but not a new social was not issued. It was that same social that was already given to him. Social Security still sent to him.
Okay. Thank you very much. Do we have anyone with any questions? Okay, in the absence of questions for those just joining us, I just want you to. Okay, sir. I want you to stop sharing your screen.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Or somebody just asked if they can reach out via something. I don't know.
Okay. Let me see the chat box. Can we reach over via the contact on the screen? I think that was what the person wanted to say.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So thank you very much, sir. For those of you just joining us again, we'll want to tell you about our upcoming events that you can always, follow us on our social media website. This is quite restricted to Nigerians, but it's also important that you know about it because, again, sometimes you just need to have a valid form of identification, even if you are undocumented. And without this number, you obviously cannot revalidate your passport. So it's also essential to know little things like this. We also have an entrepreneurial series coming up. So please catch up with us. And again, we'll always emphasize that the Nigerian Center is here to serve everybody. And no matter how, like our speaker said, even if you're undocumented, even though we know life happens, if you're undocumented, you can still have a life. You just need access to the right kind of information, the right kind of resources. And in no time, things would, even out. So we just encourage you to follow us at the Nigerian Center, and you have access to the information you need. Again, these are what we do, our social media page, our volunteer page, and all that. And again, I just want to encourage you to be a donor to the Nigerian Center. Like we said, your $5 goes a very, very long way. So we just encourage you to be a recurring donor and support our work. Again, we're a donor-led organization, and so we rely on your donations to keep on doing whatever we're doing. So in the absence of any other question, I would like to say thank you to everybody for tuning in. I'd like to thank our speaker especially for the support. I know you have special love for the Nigerian Center, and on behalf of Benga Ogujimi, the founder of the Nigerian Center, I want to say thank you again for always being there for us and for always responding to the call. Thank you very much. We do appreciate you. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Stay updated with what we do. And yes, we'll keep in touch, and we'll also keep in touch with you. Thank you very much. See you some other time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good one, Jumoke. Have a good one.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sahi. Thank you again.
Pleasure, ma'am. Okay, you're welcome. Bye now.
Yes, bye-bye.